Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're taking a look at my Shadow Shell. No longer the APK Shadow Shell, but actually Cynicalex's big titty goth girlfriend. So yeah, the build is pretty straightforward. I've got capped cooldown, almost capped ignore defense. We're still, of course, at level 60, gear 20 because of the potential, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we've maxed out the level on 3 of her skills, 3, 1, and 5. I don't really know why I leveled up 1. I just kind of like the way the skill looks. It looks cool. But you really only need to level up 3. And then you need to level up 5. You might be able to get away with not leveling up 3. I'm not sure if the cooldown gets affected by that. I wasn't paying too close attention. But 5 is definitely a must level up because of the accumulation, the immunity, and the guard hit, which applies to all allies, which is a nice touch. The rest of the build is pretty straightforward. Power of Angry Hulk ISO 8 set. I think it's the best ISO 8 set for all of the Warriors of the Sky. I was going to say Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we've got a regular poison damage proc obelisk. It's mind damage first, but it's actually more poison damage. So she is rocking a base 60% poison damage before any other buffs, but we really don't have any other buffs because there's no poison damage leadership for now. When Green Goblin gets his rework, he's going to get that poison damage leadership, I promise you. And yeah, the rest of the build, I got ignore defense here, and then the rest of the Urus are empty because I'm not yet sure. I haven't finalized the build yet. I want to take her in some content, but I am a little bit worried about her playstyle because a lot of her power level, and I've been testing her a little bit, a lot of her power basically depends on whether you can land the 5th skill with accumulation or not. And so she kind of ends up playing a little bit like Gambit. You use one skill for both offense and defense. You know, he's got the iframe, which is also crazy damage. And then you run around, and then you do it again. Because her other skills, unfortunately, have a pretty long animation and lots of hits, which, I mean, those things are good, but they're bad when you're trying to time your proc. And then also her 5th skill has very bad targeting. So there we missed our proc, so we're going to have to choose to proc on another skill. We can sort of use the iframe on 1 to dodge around, but as you can see, you don't really want to be spamming skills right before your obelisk is going to proc for damage proc because that is going to interrupt you. So I mean, she's got a really cool playstyle, and I love, you know, seeing her roll around, and you know, it feels like an RPG character from like a fantasy game, and she's shooting this crossbow and stuff. But there, I just missed my proc because I was doing 1 too many times. We don't want strikers that are going to mind control because of the accumulation, like Crescent, like Mr. Fantastic, like Captain America. And so because of that, you have a situation where she can get hit, she's going to take damage, even though she has 25% damage reduction, even though she has the accumulation and the immunity. She still gets hit in between because there's about 2 seconds of gap in between her immunity going down on 5 and then it coming back up. And so you can see, like, she's a really fun character to play. She looks really cool, but she does have some difficulties with a traditional obelisk setup. So the words that free-to-plays dread to hear, I don't think a regular obelisk is going to do a very good job. Like, I don't think you're going to get the most out of this character optimally with a regular obelisk. I think you're going to need either a CTP of Rage or a CTP of Judgment to make the most out of this character, given what I'm seeing as far as her build is concerned. And you may also need, yeah, we died from the purple circles. You may also need to use healing like anti-venom. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Fun character. I think an obelisk can work, but I don't think it's going to be optimal because of the stuff that I just explained, where you're basically just doing 5 kite, 5 kite, and then if you splash in 3 and 1 too much, if you're not very careful, then she ends up accidentally triggering her proc early. I actually avoided using Shadow Blast at all. Now, Shadow Blast is a cool skill. Shadow Blast and Torrential Poison are very, very cool, but they last for a really long time, and that's really bad for a damage proc, because you can't use those skills too close to the proc because it could accidentally trigger it. So for example, 4, really, really cool skill, but you can see here lots of hits and then lots of hits, and that's a long delay. That's, you know, you can count the seconds in between activating the skill and the skill ending. So if you do this too close to the end of your proc, it can trigger your next proc and screw up all of your damage that you want to land on 5. Same thing goes with her 2nd skill here. It's really cool. It looks amazing, but you don't want to do it too often, as you can see, because it's got a long wind up and then it's going to have lots of hits. Same thing kind of goes for 3. Now, I still did use 3, but I used it right after 5. If you delay too long on using 3 and you wait for too long, it's going to trigger your proc, because as you can see, the snakes last for a really long time. Now, that's really good if you've got a CTP of Rage, or if you've got a CTP of Judgment, or if you've even got a CTP of Greed. Anything that's going to buff your abilities for the entire duration of the proc activating. But unfortunately, a regular obelisk or a CTP of energy or a CTP of destruction, those only buff one attack. Now you could try to get freaky with it. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you can try to get freaky with it. And you could try to do like, you know, 5 proc and then 4 cancel, 3 cancel, 2 cancel, 1 5 proc. I mean, you could try some crazy strife level canceling like that. I do think it's going to be kind of hard, and I don't know if it's going to still be optimal. So I will say that. I would say it would be really nice for Marvel Future Fight to create a new obelisk or create a new sort of ability that obelisks can roll where it gives sort of a smaller buff. Maybe it only increases the damage by 100% maximum, but it's for the full 5 seconds. So you can sort of have like a mini CTP of Judgment, a mini CTP of Rage in terms of having a 5-second long buff rather than a buff that lasts for 1 attack during 5 seconds. For characters like Shadow Shell, because I think Shadow Shell is a really cool character. I love playing her. I just hate seeing the proc miss and seeing her damage like an eighth of what it should be. And then people are like looking at the video, they're like, oh wow, she sucks. Or he sucks at playing. It's kind of, you know, that's kind of what it boils down to. So I think I am going to try her now with the CTP of Judgment and see how she does. I've got 2 here. I'm going to go with this one. I think the synergy between the chain hit damage and her, like, lots of attacks, I think that does have a really high promise. Keep in mind, this is probably going to be a pretty big upgrade as well because we're moving from... Oh, actually, it's not a 200. I thought it was a 200. Okay, so this one's not even well rolled. This is actually a good test because this is not a perfect CTP of Judgment. This is a 150 bonus with a -20 all resistances rather than 200 and -30. And this is a 36% poison damage, 160. So it's interesting. I want to see how this works. I want to see if this works, I should say. And in the meantime, you can just see that her physical attack went up about 20,000. The other thing I wanted to mention specifically is that for the Warriors of the Sky... less so for Sunbird and Blue Dragon because they have fire and lightning resist down, but specifically Shadow Shell and to a lesser extent War Tiger, they could be really good or they could be above average for Thanos World Boss and possibly Apocalypse World Boss because they don't rely on all defense down or resistances down to do their damage. So that is definitely something, that is definitely something to consider about them. Because it could be a situation where you iframe, trigger the rate. There could be a situation where these characters can do more damage because of the fact that they have, you know, just higher raw damage. Sort of like the Namor effect. I'm just trying to focus here to not lose things too much. We're like diving through all of these tornadoes. Yeah, you know, the damage doesn't seem that much better. Man, if she had like 1 extra second, I died. Wow. All right, Owen Wilson, let me just focus here. Let's stop talking and let's start trying to get kills and, you know, see if this character is actually worth the investment because I'm a little bit disappointed right now. I really thought I could smash this out with her now that she has a Judgment, but this is still seeming a little bit skeptical. It's always hard to face tank Proxima, I will say that, but maybe she needs more attack speed to really be able to spam those ones because the iframe on 1 is kind of short. But yeah, Proxima is... Man, no proc that whole time, really. Proxima's hard to face tank. There's some accumulation. There we go. She's so cool to play. Like, I don't want to give up on Shadow Shell. She's so cool to play. But this is tough. This is definitely tough. This is not as easy to play as I initially thought it was. And yeah. Missing her 5th skill hurts so much. But it's so cool to see the snakes. You can sort of sneak 4 in. I got a guard broken there. Yeah. You can sort of sneak 4 in, but yeah, she has pretty low defenses and pretty low HP. That's gonna be really good accumulation. No, it's not. Okay. I missed because she iframed. Tragedy. But she seems to have decent damage with her skills, her regular skills. That's got to be good accumulation, right? Oh, but she moved out of the way. Perfect. Proxima is my nightmare. Okay, awesome. She literally moves out of the way for anything. Ugh, so annoying. Proxima, stand still, baby. Wow, you moved again. I'm so happy for you. I understand why all of the kids in the Disney movie say they don't want to move. I understand now. Moving sucks. Come on, I never had to move growing up. Could I get more unlucky with these procs though? I'm actually not sure if I could. Oh, good, she iframed again. My experience playing World Boss. Oh, I should have used the 1 to move out of the way. Awesome, and we died. Oh man, that's frustrating. Okay, well, I mean, it's a stage 50 without strikers, so you can kind of gauge the value and you can kind of gauge the performance of the character, but she's definitely harder to play than I initially thought. We can definitely improve her build with, you know, improving the CTP of Judgment, getting her to level 70, getting some of the gears a little bit higher, maybe to give her a little bit more defense, a little bit more HP. She does have double HP rolled here, so maybe getting the black denim shorts to like 22 or 25. But yeah, man, pretty tough right now. Especially with the character that has, I mean, the advantage of being universal, and then the advantage of 50% all defense and 25% decreased damage received. She's still taking a ton of damage from Proxima. Maybe Nick Fury wasn't a good leadership. Maybe I need to pair her with someone like Shuri to get more supervillain damage reduction, or even someone like Colossus, although Colossus is not going to buff her damage. He's just going to decrease the damage she takes. But I thought she felt a little bit squishy whenever the 5th skill wasn't active, and then it really sucks that the 5th skill has such bad targeting. As soon as you press the skill, it sets a line in front of it, and it's going to hit that line, which makes it very annoying against Proxima because Proxima constantly jumps laterally to avoid your abilities. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Shadow Shell. Man, Crescent was a little bit underrated. Is Shadow Shell a little bit overrated? We have a little bit of intrigue and maybe some salt from the community, and a bit salt from me, actually. Ah, damn, my girl. What are we going to do, boys? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.